now on Justice.
The president's disappointed in a number of people that he thought were loyal to him that weren't.
So, what to do now? And how do President Trump and the White House move forward after the GOP's epic fail? It's tonight's opening statement. Plus,
so adults are in with our kids from other countries who don't speak English. Do you know if they have criminal records?
More tonight on my alarming interview with a local mayor and sheriff about unscreened, illegal young adults in the same schools as young American children.
They go into the same bathrooms as our kids?
Yes.
And Governor Mike Huckabee and my all-star political panel. A packed Sunday edition of Justice starts right now. Hello and welcome to Justice. I'm Judge Jeannie Pirro. Thanks for being with us tonight. My opening statement and Governor Mike Huckabee in a moment, but first, lots of excitement this weekend. Yesterday, President Trump tweeted, "Watch Judge Jeannie on Fox News tonight at 9 p.m. And in my open last night, I said Speaker Ryan should step down over his failure to deliver the votes on his health care bill. The president's chief of staff was asked about this by Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday.
He loves Judge Jeanine, and he wanted to do Judge Jeanine a favor.
So does he want Paul Ryan to step down or no?
No, he doesn't. And he's talked to Paul Ryan yesterday for about an hour. He believes what he said in the Oval Office on Friday. He doesn't blame Paul Ryan.
I told you that last night. My opens are my opinion, and the president and I did not talk about it. But now to tonight's open. The fallout from the GOP healthcare failure is that President Trump now knows that he cannot rely on the political establishment. So now is the time for the 45th president to redefine and realign coalitions in Washington. No longer need the president rely on Ryan, the establishment, and the coalitions that have hung together to dictate policy and legislation that rarely benefits the American people, but instead benefits them. The truth? Washington, as you already know, is entrenched in establishment. K Street lobbyists control Congress with money and influence, who for too long have dictated the agenda of our legislature. And yet, for some reason, we believed that a president who had the House and the Senate could do almost anything. But on Friday night, we learned that elected Republicans weren't ready to take care of the people's business. Mr. President, Americans elected you because they believed you could shake things up. You gave Ryan and the establishment a chance. It's now time to create your own rules, your own coalitions. Forget about party lines, freedom caucuses, interest groups. Instead, rely on your instincts and your gut, which have always served you well. The ones that took you from the boardroom to that golden escalator that brought you to the White House. The people who elected you because you spoke from the heart. You spoke to them, and you spoke like them. They liked your unconventional style. They liked that you weren't like the politicians. All they want is jobs, food on their tables, and the ability to live safe and decent lives. They're not interested in the games that the people in Washington play, and they could care less about labels. Tomorrow is a new day, and there's much to be optimistic about. Neil Gorsuch, one of the most talented, respected, temperamentally suited justices nominated for the United States Supreme Court. The Keystone Pipeline has a permit and is ready to roll. There are troops on the ground like never before in Syria and Iraq. And ISIS, like you promised, is about to be squashed like the cockroaches that they are. Your executive orders are exactly what you promised. Jobs are being brought back to America, and the wall is starting to be a reality. Tax cuts and infrastructure are up next. You already know that you can't rely on members of your own party, because within that party are factions and caucuses and groups who would rather fight with each other than win for us. And I know you still believe in your speaker. But I'm thinking he either doesn't know how to count or he doesn't have a clue.
We learned a lot about loyalty. We learned a lot about the vote-getting process. We learned a lot about some very arcane rules in, obviously, both the Senate and in the House. So it's been, certainly for me, it's been a very interesting experience.
But now every group, every collective, every caucus is emboldened by their strength of 5 or 10 or 15. And the more they are emboldened, the more the party is weakened. So it's time for the man who campaigned under this banner to work his plan. It is time for that man to look out on the august body of Congress and decide who in that Congress, irrespective of the side of the aisle that they sit, is ready to work for the American people, not who wants to be a part of a clique, or who wants to be a hater, or who wants to be left or right. We've got to get back to who's willing to work for us. Reach out to them. We don't care if they're in a caucus, or if they're in a clique, or if they're on the left, or the right, the middle, or if they're hanging upside down like a bat from the ceiling. If you could make a deal with them to make America great, do it. Party is no longer relevant. The American people will have your back. Mr. President, we learned a lot Friday night, but what we already knew was you are the master of the art of the deal. It's now time to make that deal. This is your time in history, your time to create a new paradigm outside all the boundaries of politics as we now know it. You, as the outsider we elected, are just the man to do it. And that's my open.